come over from the original Zoom meeting room to this new one.
Sesi kali ini kiranya kita bisa menggunakan dua fitur yang tersedia, yaitu dua versi bahasa Indonesia, versi terjemahan jika disampaikan dalam bahasa Inggris, begitu pula sebaliknya ketika interpretasi ingin disampaikan dan Anda ingin menggunakan bahasa Indonesia, maka akan diterjemahkan ke dalam bahasa Inggris. Seperti Anda bisa lihat, Bapak Ibu sekalian, di situ ada toggle persis di sisi sebelah bawah layar Anda bisa switch ke kiri dan ke kanan ketika Anda ingin memilih dua bahasa sebagai alternatif untuk menyimak. Dalam hal ini, interpreter atau translator akan melakukan tugasnya menerjemahkan secara simultan terkait dengan apa program yang akan disampaikan di acara kali ini, termasuk terminologi jika akan disebutkan. Dan dengan demikian, saya, Reza, penerjemah, bisa juga dilibatkan dan jika diperlukan ingin menyampaikan sesuai dengan bahasa asli dari penutur atau akan berpresentasi akan diterjemahkan. Untuk ke hal lain yang seperti kita ketahui saat
we can't plan for everything, and in this case, the chief of BNPB, General Doni, has actually tested positive late last week for COVID. He is, I think, fortunately, has very relatively mild symptoms, but is quarantining and under medical attention. So he will not be joining us. I understand that Pa Harmon was not able to join remotely. He thought he may be able to and is not. I'm going to ask if Pa Raditya, if you might be able to make some opening remarks for BNPB on his behalf. I know it's relatively last minute, but I'm hoping that works for you to do that. So with that, why don't I turn the meeting over to our facilitator and Master of Ceremonies, Ibu Fitri.
Selamat pagi, Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati.
Okay, I would like to say very good morning. And knowing from the fact that we
terima aplikasi InAWARE kepada BNPB pada hari ini Selasa 26 Januari 2021. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Perkenalkan, saya Fitri yang akan memandu jalannya rapat penutupan proyek dan serah terima aplikasi InAWARE kepada BNPB. Yang terhormat kepada Bapak Kepala Pusat Data dan Komunikasi BNPB, Bapak Dr. Raditya Jati. Yang kami hormati Kapus Dalop BNPB, Bapak Bambang Surya Putra MKOM, serta Bapak Ibu Eselon 1 dan 2 beserta staf BNPB. Yang kami hormati Deputi Direktur Proyek InAWARE, Bapak Chris Cesar. Yang kami hormati kolega dari PDC, serta hadirin yang mengikuti jalannya rapat penetapan proyek dan serah terima aplikasi InAWARE ini secara virtual. Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati, berkenaan dengan berakhirnya proyek InAWARE, USAID selaku penyandang dana proyek ini juga akan mengakhiri kerjasamanya dengan AHA Center yang berfokus pada pengurangan bencana di seluruh ASEAN. Kedua proyek InAWARE dan DMRS menghasilkan sistem peringatan dini dan pendukung keputusan berupa aplikasi, di mana keduanya dibangun atas platform DisasterAWARE yang dibuat oleh PDC. Menimbang bahwa kedua proyek sudah akan berakhir, pelaksanaannya sebagai mitra utama proyek kerjasama ini, Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati, agenda rapat penutupan dan pelimpahan proyek InAWARE akan dibuka oleh Direktur Proyek Bapak Chris Cesar yang akan dilanjutkan arahan dari Kepala Pusat Data dan Komunikasi Kebencanaan Bapak Dr. Raditya Jati. Selanjutnya sambutan dari AHA Center Executive Director yang akan dilanjutkan presentasi hasil proyek InAWARE DMRS, presentasi kegiatan mitra bencana, peta bencana, dan OpenStreetMap, yang kemudian presentasi penggunaan InAWARE di Pusdalop oleh Bapak Kepala Pusdalop, Bapak Bambang Surya Putra. Kemudian presentasi penggunaan DMRS di ASEAN oleh DMS Asisten Direktur AHA Center. Dan selanjutnya rencana mendatang kerjasama PDC, BNPB, dan PDC AHA Center oleh Direktur Proyek PDC, Bapak Chris Jesa. Dan untuk penutup rapat ini oleh USAID BHA Regional Officer. Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati, mengawali acara mari kita ikuti pembukaan dari Deputi Direktur Proyek Bapak Chris Jesa. Kami persilakan.
Terima kasih. Good morning. Thank you everybody for participating and again, accommodating our change in logistics and slight change in agenda. I want to particularly start by thanking, of course, all of you, but in particular, I'd like to start by thanking USAID for their extremely generous financial support for this activity. Without them, none of this would really be possible. I'd like to thank BNPB for the long partnership that we've enjoyed. And likewise, I'd like to thank AHA Center and Ibu Adelina for the long partnership that PDC and AHA Center have enjoyed. Also extend my thanks to our partners and implementation partners, HOT, Petabencana, UGM, and NSI, and all of my colleagues. I'd also like to just start by paying respect to two colleagues who are not with us longer, were not able to join us, Pa Sutopo and Pa Wisnu, both of whom were really instrumental in initiating and advancing this program. May they rest in peace. This is a really proud moment for me and for our team. I hope for all of you as well, to be handing over InAWARE and DMRS for their operational use by BNPB and AHA Center respectively. As I think most of you are aware, our InAWARE grant ended recently at the end of December, and the AHA Center activities that are part of our regional capacity development grant are also nearing an end. So we thought it made sense, given many factors, to hold a joint handover ceremony. I'll say some words at the end of the presentation, but I want to just say that even though these projects are ending, programs are ending, our relationships in both cases started well before these grants, and they will continue, I hope, stronger than ever, stronger than when we started. So this really marks a handover, not a closing. I don't want to steal Victoria's thunder, and in the interest of time and maybe picking up a little bit of time, I'll just say that we have a lot to celebrate today, and Victoria will share with you many of the highlights, milestones, and accomplishments that we've made with each of these programs over the year. So with that, brief remarks, let me turn it back to our facilitator and have her introduce the speaker from BNPB, who I believe is going to be Pa Raditya in place of Chief Doni, who is hopefully on his way to recovering full health from COVID. Thank you. Ibu Fitri, would you like to introduce our next speaker?
Terima kasih kepada Bapak Chris Jesa atas pembukaannya. Selanjutnya, marilah kita dengarkan bersama arahan Kepala Pusat Data Informasi dan Komunikasi BNPB, kemudian dilanjutkan dengan sambutan dari AHA Center. Kepada Bapak Dr. Raditya Jati, kami persilakan waktu dan tempat.
Thank you, MC, and thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Chris Jesa, and also I have seen many important person here in the FitCon. So a greeting from Indonesia, Jakarta, wherever you are. I think this is a good chance that we can meet today, and I hope you all in a good health. So just to mention that Mr. Chris told the last minute I have to make a speech, so I will try to improve it myself. What should I say? Okay, first, my name is Raditya Jati. Now I'm a head of the data information and disaster communication. And also now I'm acting deputy for system and strategy. So what Mr. Chris had mentioned, we have lost Pak Sutopo and Pak Wisnu in the past, and now I'm their successor in the place. Now I'm placing Pak Sutopo, also acting as Pak Wisnu. So I'm both of them now. So hopefully we can do in a good way now to make their dreams come true. So first, thank you again for PDC, Mr. Chris, and also USAID for supporting all this program. We know that this project had been established since 2013, and InAWARE is now very active using in the EOC postal ops in Indonesia since 2016. And since we moved to Pramuka BNPB, now we use this as an integrated data information that can be used for doing in response. And yeah, we say that this handover, I know that this is a handover related on the project that is not being continued by USAID, but I think this is a very good chance that we can now still use the InAWARE to elaborate more and to improve the software, and also the possibility to create new ideas, innovation related on how we can really model the disaster that caused in that can happen. You might know that Indonesia is one of the biggest archipelagic state that have many risks, and yeah, maybe also in the Philippines, Mr. Ricardo, and we know that also the ASEAN countries has also many coastal lines and also many shopping lists of natural hazard. So the important thing now we have to do is how data can be an information, can be analyzed, and can be a strategy how to really cope with the disaster itself when the disaster happens. We know many natural hazards is one of the causes that can be interfered by the man-made itself. So I think the intervention of the development also should be integrated into the data and information to have the better analysis and to make a better strategy. So we wish the next future, yeah, if we can still collaborate with the PDC and also USAID, I think it's a good chance that we can discuss what are the future programs that can be done in the next future, also related with the regional ASEAN country with AHA Center. I believe this is one of the issues that we can do to make more better on collaborating in ASEAN countries and also in ourselves in national and local level. So thank you once again for attending this handover meeting for PDC and InAWARE. And I think hopefully in the future we still can work together and collaborate and make more better cooperation internationally and also. Thank you very much, and thank you very much. And I hand over back to Fitri for the MC for the next agenda. Thank you very much for all, and stay safe and good health. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Pa. I appreciate you filling in.
Dr. Raditya Jati atas sambutannya. Selanjutnya sambutan dari AHA Center Eksekutif Direktur Ibu Adelina Kamal, kami persilakan. Selamat pagi, Ibu Adelina Kamal. Kami persilakan untuk sambutan dari AHA Center. Terima kasih.
I think Ibu Adelina got disconnected.
Kepada Ibu Adelina Kamal untuk mikrofonnya untuk di unmute karena di sini tidak terdengar.
Terima kasih Ibu MC. Bisakah mendengar sekarang?
Iya Ibu, jelas Bu. Terima kasih Bu.
Sebelumnya saya minta maaf tadi disconnected sebentar, tapi insya Allah koneksinya lancar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. I would like to ask permission to deliver the speech in English, and I hope that the translation will also be provided. Assalamualaikum colleagues from BNPB Indonesia, teman-teman dari bapak-bapak yang terhormat dan teman-teman dari BNPB Indonesia, Dr. Aditya Jati and Pak Bambang and other colleagues from BNPB. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Our ACDM family, we have a few focal points and heads of NDMOs from the ASEAN member states joining this handover. So we have received confirmation and also the participation from NCDM Cambodia, Excellency Manorith, Undersecretary Ricardo Halat from Office of Civil Defense and the Embassy of the Philippines, NATMA Malaysia, and Singapore Civil Defense, our chair of the governing board of the AHA Center for 2021, as well as colleagues from the ASEAN Secretariat. Good morning to you all. Bapak Harlan Hill, USAID Regional Advisor, Mr. Ray Sripodai, my friend, Executive Director of PDC, Pak Chris Chesia, Deputy Executive Director of PDC, colleagues from PDC, colleagues from AHA Center, the World Bank, partner organization, disaster management community in Indonesia. Good morning from the home of One ASEAN, One Response. It's been a privilege for the AHA Center to work with the Pacific Disaster Center, PDC, under the ASEAN-US Cooperation Platform since our birth 9 years ago. DMRS, which stands for Disaster Monitoring and Response System, powered by the PDC's DisasterAWARE, is a customized, near real-time disaster monitoring tool of the AHA Center. And it has been internalized and mainstreamed for the past 9 years into our day-to-day disaster monitoring and response operation. It has allowed us to perform our key function as the operational coordination engine of the ASEAN Agreement on Disaster Management and Emergency Response, or ADME, and also as the primary regional coordinating agency under the ASEAN Leaders Declaration on One ASEAN, One Response. The MRS has not only been beneficial for the AHA Center's operation alone, it has enabled us, the AHA Center, to assist ASEAN member states and provide a common operating picture for multiple hazard situations in the region and perform regional analysis, regional risk analysis assigned to us under the AADMER, ADMER. It has also provided us with the basis for assessment and response operation. It has also inspired the development of similar platforms at the country level in ASEAN member states, such as Indonesia through the InAWARE, the Philippines through the PhilippInAWARE, Thailand and Vietnam through the FINAWARE, as well as the arrangements that we have with the Lao PDR's EOC and Myanmar's EOC through our DMRS at the AHA Center. We hope that more and more ASEAN member states join us in this platform so that we can promote interoperability as well as sharing to perform better regional risk analysis. For that, the AHA Center would like to extend our appreciation to the PDC as well as USAID for the long-time partnership. I'm glad that Chris mentioned it earlier, but I really hope that the cooperation will not end with this handover of DMRS today, because the AHA Center and PDC just renewed our partnership through the signing of Memorandum of Intent during the 9th-year anniversary of the AHA Center last November. Ray and I had the pleasure of announcing that in front of our partners during AHA Center's 9th anniversary. Last November, AHA Center commemorated our 9th anniversary. We chose a theme called Transforming Through Uncertainty. This is a special year for us, 2021, because 9 years, it was last November. This year, this November, AHA Center is going to celebrate our 10 years of existence. Time flies indeed. And I see my friend Ray smile. You know, time flies when we enjoy the time, right? And this will be the 10 years of existence of AHA Center after the ACDM family, the 10 ASEAN countries, gave birth to the AHA Center 9 years or 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, on the 17th of November. However, in view of the current pandemic situation and the increasing complexity of disasters given by climate emergencies and other new risks, the AHA Center will have to continue to transform through uncertainty. It should be just beyond the theme for our 9th anniversary. In this era of uncertainty, the AHA Center needs to continue to be reliable, relevant, and sustainable. For that, we are hoping to further maximize the potential provided by the DMRS through closer collaboration with the ASEAN member states and the partners. The new cycle for the ATME work program for 2021 to 2025 has identified regional multi-hazard monitoring and early warning system adapted and strengthened end-to-end as one of its sub-priorities. Through the AHA Center Information Network, or IMNET, we aim to work together with the NDMOs of the ASEAN member states to contribute to the achievement of ATME work program outcomes and outputs related to disaster information management, including early warning. And hopefully, this will facilitate the availability of quality and accessibility of identified core data sets at both regional and national level, ensure information system interoperability between ASEAN member states and AHA Center EOC, and strengthen the technical capacity of our EOCs to produce, manage, and use information to support decision-making across the whole emergency management cycle. The AHA Center has also advocated anticipatory actions during the development of ATME work program until the end, just before the ACDM adopted the ATME work program, to promote early warning for early action. That's because transforming through uncertainty, we need 4 A's: anticipate, articulate, including advocacy, adapt, so we remain agile, creative, and innovative, and accountable. So I hope that the DMRS will continue to be one of the tools that will allow the AHA Center and the ASEAN family to transform through uncertainty based on these 4 elements of anticipate, articulate, adapt, and accountable, so that together we can be the enabler for others and bring value add to the ASEAN member state and the disaster-affected populations that we serve.
Baik, terima kasih atas sambutannya Ibu Adelina Kamal. Dengan berakhirnya sambutan dari Ibu Adelina Kamal, mari kita mulai rapat ini dengan diawali presentasi hasil proyek InAWARE DMRS oleh Deputi Direktur Proyek InAWARE, Bapak Krisya. Kami persilakan.
Thank you very much. I'll actually jump in for this presentation. Chris, unless you wanted to respond briefly.
Thank you. No, I'm happy to have you present this, Victoria, and I'll just thank my previous two speakers. I think the stage has been very well set for a quick sharing of some of our successes and outcomes. So please proceed, Victoria.
Thank you, Chris. Can everybody see my screen just as I get started? Great.
Yeah.
So first, we'd like to thank all the ministries, departments, and agencies and organizations who have contributed to these two projects. Neither of these projects could have been successful without the continued efforts and support of our partners and stakeholders. So thank you to you all, and thank you all for attending this morning. Firstly, I'd like to take you through some of the successes of the InAWARE project, which began in 2013. The overarching aim of this project was to improve disaster management decision-making. One of the key outcomes of this project was the development, deployment, customization, and operationalization of the InAWARE system, which involved a number of activities you can see here. Stakeholder engagement has been a key theme throughout the InAWARE project, with three specific engagements noted here. The beginning of the project in 2013, our phase 2, which began in the middle of 2016, and this handover ceremony that you're joining today. I believe many of you may have attended one or more of these activities along the way, and we're pleased to welcome you back here again today. Since the initial development of the InAWARE system in 2014, the InAWARE system has been continuously evolving in line with the updates and enhancements we've made to the DisasterAWARE platform. The idea behind this is to continually improve the system, improve the user experience for the benefit of users. Over the course of the project, we've added more than 800 static and dynamic data sets into the InAWARE system. These include regional, national, and subnational data from authoritative sources. This data development provides the Indonesian disaster management community with accurate, near real-time hazard information, as well as important baseline and critical infrastructure information and data that is supported and continues to support effective decision-making. Our project partners who are here with us today, Humanitarian OpenStreetMap, also known as HOT, and the Yayasan Peta Bencana team have undertaken work throughout the project to develop both crowdsourced hazard information and critical lifeline data, which have been integrated into the InAWARE system. You may see on your agenda that we'll be hearing a little bit more about each of their work later in this ceremony. The second outcome of the InAWARE project relates specifically to the development of both a concept of operations document and standard operating procedures. These documents have been designed to guide the effective use of InAWARE within BNPB and were developed and refined over the last few years in close collaboration with BNPB. You can see here some of the activities we've conducted to advance these documents. Both the CONOPS and the SOPs have now been delivered to BNPB for approval and operationalization. Capacity development is also a key outcome of the InAWARE project, with 44 training sessions conducted over the course of the project and delivering training to user training to more than 1,200 participants. Additionally, a number of InAWARE administrative training sessions were conducted to help build capacity for BNPB to effectively manage the InAWARE system, manage user accounts, maintain the system, and add new data as desired. To support remote InAWARE user training, which this year has become particularly important in the current pandemic situation, an e-learning course was also developed both in Bahasa and in English. This incorporated the InAWARE training content, as well as the training materials from our partners, HOT and Petamencana. The e-learning course itself will shortly be transferred to BNPB, who will then administer user accounts and add new content as required. With in-person training not possible during this pandemic, this e-learning platform has been particularly valuable, and we have used this, and BNPB has used this system to deliver remote training to BPBD staff in 31 of Indonesia's 34 provinces. And we hope by the end, very shortly, that we'll have all 34 projects trained using this system. With an eye to sustainment from the very beginning, we also focused on the development, application, and incorporation of a Train the Trainer program for BNPB staff, as well as BPBD staff from selected provinces. Over 5 training sessions over the last 7 years, we've trained a cadre of 62 trainers to deliver user training to others. While the InAWARE system is a customized system specifically for the needs of the Indonesian disaster management community, the project remains mindful of the borderless nature of hazard events and response. And with this in mind, selected hazard information has been synchronized between the InAWARE system and the AHA Center's DMRS. We are now working to formalize the synchronization between the two organizations to allow that data sharing to continue. Taking a quick look at the project indicators, I'm pleased to share with you that we have exceeded our targets, both in terms of the number of training sessions and the number of people trained throughout the project. We've also exceeded our targets in relation to retention of InAWARE skills and knowledge 2 months after the training. I'm very pleased to report this information. To understand the way that the InAWARE system is being used both within BNPB and the BPBD offices, we enlisted the help of a third party to undertake a use survey for the InAWARE system. This evaluation itself is ongoing. We're digging deeper into the information provided by respondents to this survey we conducted, or our evaluation partner conducted. But already the preliminary results show some very positive information about the use of the system and the interest in using the system. It's worth noting here that the survey itself was conducted before the recent issue of an InAWARE use policy circular that went out to BPBD offices and BNPB staff. So we expect these numbers to improve even further over the next few months. Of course, InAWARE is designed as an operational tool, and under the leadership of BNPB's head of Pustalops, Pak Bambang, we've seen considerable increase in the operational use of the system over the last few years. InAWARE is now displayed full-time in the EOC at BNPB, as well as in some of the BPBD offices across the country. Additionally, both BNPB and BPBD operational staff are required to input hazard information for all hazards into the InAWARE system. And this information is then used to populate the BNPB daily reports relating to hazards across the country. Further, the system is now being used as well to support, obviously, hazard monitoring response, but also to inform the public. You can see here some of the press conferences where the system is being used to help inform the public of the response efforts and required information. It's a lot of information on this slide, but I think you can see the numbers really provide a good snapshot of that operational use. Nearly 10,000 hazards displayed in the InAWARE system over the last 3 years, and nearly 250,000 SMS and email notifications relating to those hazards events have been sent to users over the same period as well. Of course, this is a joint ceremony, so moving on to DMRS, the Disaster Monitoring and Response System. The next slides focus on the activities undertaken for the AHA Centre component of our regional programme. So as many of you are aware, this is a regional programme we've been conducting with many of the ASEAN member states, and this focuses on the work we've been doing with the AHA Centre in relation to DMRS. The overarching aim of this project is to strengthen regional hazard monitoring and early warning capacity. As Adelina mentioned earlier, the DMRS system has already been in operation before this project began. And so this new project provided an opportunity to update the DMRS system in line with the DisasterAWARE platform for the benefit of users across the region. This project has also provided technical assistance to the AHA Centre for maintenance, operation and institutionalization of DMRS within the AHA Centre and across the region. Technical assistance took many forms, but this includes data development activities, notably the integration of the severe Mekong data and through work carried out under a separate project, data from PDC's National Disaster Preparedness Baseline Assessments that have been conducted across the region. Additionally, this project delivered training to participants of the AHA Centre executive program, also known as the ACE program, highlighting the regional nature of the DMRS system. Additional ACE training is planned for later in this year, as is further AHA Centre staff training following an update which we expect to take place early next month. Again, considering the growing need for remote and online training, a DMRS e-learning platform was developed. This DMRS training course will be integrated into the AHA Centre's learning management system in the coming weeks. Again, looking at the project indicators, you can see we have successfully exceeded our targets on a number of indices already. As noted, additional ACE training and AHA Centre training is planned for later in this year. And so we are on target to meet or exceed our training indicators as we move towards the end of this project. DMRS is obviously as well designed to be used operationally, and under the leadership of the AHA Centre's Director of Operations, Siva Balan, DMRS is being used operationally for monitoring response, regional coordination, and to support decision makers across the ASEAN region. I think Ibu Lina mentioned earlier some of the ways the system is being used, and really a testament to the AHA Centre and their use of the system and making this really operational and supporting the region. Many of you as well may be familiar with the AHA Centre's flash updates, and there you'll see the DMRS data being used regularly to inform regional responders and decision makers. Again, I think the numbers speak for themselves in terms of DMRS operations. The 250,000 hazard notifications have been sent from DMRS in the last 18 months alone for the 1,300 or more hazards that have been in the system over the same period. So really engaged and active use of the system over that period. So coming full circle, I'd like to again thank all the stakeholders for their engagement and support in making these two projects so successful. We would just like to show you a short video of some of the highlights from the two projects over the last 8 years.
This interagency sharing helps promote effective and efficient response and recovery. Using InAWARE, government officials can effectively communicate details of the disaster as well as the response.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victoria. That was an excellent presentation and a heartwarming video.
Baik,
Heartwarming video, and I certainly miss our two BNPB colleagues, and again want to extend our fond memories of them to all, and may they continue to rest in peace. Back to you, Ibu Fitri.
Baik, terima kasih untuk Ibu Victoria Liet untuk presentasinya dan videonya yang sangat ya, kami semua sangat kehilangan sosok Pak Sutopo dan Pak Wisnu. Selanjutnya adalah presentasi kegiatan Mitra Peta Bencana dan OpenStreetMap oleh Direktur Yayasan Peta Bencana dan Direktur HOT. Kami persilakan.
Good morning, everyone. Nashin, you turn or?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Hari Mahardika. I'm from HOT Indonesia, and in this opportunity, I will share you about our activity to support the InAWARE programs in Indonesia. So, let me share my screen. Can everybody look at my screen and okay? Okay, so this is our activity to support the PDC InAWARE in Indonesia since 2016 until 2020. So in this presentation, I will divide my presentation into 4 main activity. The first one is mapping activity. The second one, training activity. The third one, community activity. And the last but not least is our documentation for this project. Let's start with the mapping activity. So in the mapping activity, we have mapped the 3 cities in Java Islands from 2016 until 2018, started from Surabaya and continue in Jakarta and ended in Semarang in 2018. From those 3 cities, we have collected almost 3 million buildings and almost 50,000 infrastructure and critical infrastructure to support the InAWARE decision system, and all of these data have been integrated to the InAWARE platform as well. So as you can see in this slide, there is a lot of changes from our mapping activity to collect the critical infrastructure in those 3 cities that can be used to support for disaster management decision and policy. And also, after mapping activity, we continue our training activity to support and share the knowledge about how we collect the data in the field, how we conduct the mapping activity, and also how we use the data into InAWARE to the 4 of the local disaster management agency that spread on Sumatra, Kalimantan, Java, and Bali Island. We started in the North Sumatra and also continue in West Sumatra. And after that, we continue the training in West Kalimantan and Bali before we held the advanced training in Jakarta. So this is the summary of the statistic of the training, our training activity in 2019. Like I said, we have like a 4 local disaster management agency that we train about how to collect the critical infrastructure using OpenStreetMap and use it into InAWARE. And not only the local disaster management agency, but we also invited the others local governments, as well as the local university and organization. And also there is advanced training. So advanced training meaning that several participants from each of the provinces will be invited to the Jakarta to follow the advanced training about how to maximize the data that we have been collected in the field to use it into InAWARE. This is some of the documentation of the training. And the third activity is community activity. We aware that after we share the knowledge about how we collect the data in the field and how use the data, we also aware the public also needs to know about our project in this InAWARE. So that's why last year in 2020, we conducted several activity, including the university training to several university in Sumatra Island. And also we collect some of the public webinar and workshop about how to use the data in OpenStreetMap and use it for several purposes. And we also conduct the mapping design competition so they can really know about how to use the data OSM properly for the several sectors, including disaster management. And also, because of the situation of the COVID-19, we also collaborated with the USAID and the PDC to conduct the hand washing station mapping. And right now, we have collected more than 1,600 reports of the hand washing station all over the Indonesia. And also, we collaborate with the MSF to conduct the mapping training to pursue the public to collect the health facility around their area. And for this event, we also have successfully conducted more than 200 new mapping activity into the OpenStreetMap. And all of these data that we have mapped, including the hand washing station, is also have been integrated to the InAWARE system into the spatial layer of COVID-19. The last but not least, we also want to make sure that all the efforts and project that we have done in these programs in InAWARE also documented well. So the public and the people who need to look at the project and the data also can always access them in the future. So we create the website in our server about this InAWARE project and also our activity, and they also can download the data that we have collected in the 3 big cities, Jakarta, Surabaya, and Semarang. We also created several videos about our trainings that we have uploaded into our YouTube account. And this is also only one of the example of the screenshot of the video that we created when we conduct the training in the February last year. And also we create the documentation tutorial for training. One tutorial it's created by HOT, OpenStreetMap, but also we created the module training that also integrated to the PDC module site that also has been mentioned by Victoria as well. And to make sure the handover of this project and to make sure the sustainability of this activity, especially for the mapping activity using OSM, we created the document, sustainment plan document that also can be accessed both in Bahasa and English. So this is a document that's specialized, created to BNPB and to PBD for the future activity in case they still want to update the data in OSM and InAWARE. So I think that's all that I can say to all of you, and it's really, great to involving in this program for the last almost 5 years with the USAID and the PDC, and also in this project we have met a lot of exceptional person and wonderful person. So I want to say thank you for all of the efforts and all the partners that have been involved in this project, and yeah, we'll see another collaboration in the future. So thank you.
Thank you, Harry. Back to you, Ibu Fitri, to introduce our next speaker.
Untuk berikutnya, presentasi penggunaan InAWARE di Pusdalop BNPB oleh Kepala Pusdalop BNPB, Bapak Bimbang Surya Putra MKom. Kami persilakan.
Sorry, Fitri, before we have a quick presentation from Banner as well.
Peta bencana.
Apologies, Pak Bambang.
Mohon maaf untuk para peserta Bapak Ibu. Selanjutnya setelah presentasi kegiatan mitra oleh OpenStreetMap, selanjutnya oleh Ibu Nashin, Direktur Yayasan Peta Bencana. Kami persilakan.
Good morning, friends and colleagues. Pak Bambang, I'm sorry to steal your stage just for 5 minutes as I represent Peta Bencana today in sharing the activities that we've been able to conduct under this partnership. So I'm just going to share my screen. So Peta Bencana and Yayasan Peta Bencana was born out of this collaboration and partnership. So we extend a huge thanks to all of our partners and colleagues at USAID, BNPB, PDC, and HOT. And there's a lot to celebrate on how far we've come together, and also a lot to look forward to looking ahead. And so today I'll briefly share what we've been able to achieve together through this partnership. But before I go ahead, I would like to take a moment to express again our deepest and heartfelt condolences and gratitude for 2 very important supporters and mentors of Peta Bencana. Both Pak Sutoko and Pak Wisnu played an integral role not only in supporting the platform, but also as leaders and mentors, and I know they are missed widely. And as we look back on our efforts today, I hope that looking ahead, all of our efforts can continue to advance their mission of disaster risk reduction. So before this partnership started, there was a platform called petajakarta.org, which was a real-time flood map for Jakarta that allowed residents to share on-the-ground updates in real time through social media. But through this partnership in 2017, we launched petabencana.id in 4 major cities. And in 2020, just last year before the pandemic, we launched Peta Bencana on a national scale. And so in the spirit of social media and memes, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the how it started, how it's going memes, but I thought I would do this comparison to show the progress we've been able to make. And so what started as a real-time flood map is now a real-time multi-hazard map, including floods, earthquakes, volcanoes, extreme wind, forest fire, and haze. Not only for Jakarta, but now for all of Indonesia. And this means that residents all across Indonesia can now submit reports through a variety of social media channels in real time in order to support decision-making and response. Since the establishment of the platform, the Peta Bencana website has been used directly over 1,600,000 times with over 800,000 unique users. And since the start of the program, we've also seen a growing number of followers, people who are constantly engaged with us on social media platforms as well. Of course, as Peta Bencana is a real-time flood map, a real-time multi-hazard map, sorry, the engagement peaks during a time of disaster. And as we can see from some of these summaries from last year, in a single day, we can get up to 287,000 page views in 24 hours, a 26,000% increase in page activity, and over 6,000 new followers in a single day. To show that when we started, when we initially launched Peta Bencana as a real-time flood map in 2017, it was operational in 4 provinces. And this is where we were receiving crowdsourced reports from. And although we just launched last year on a national scale, we've already started to receive crowdsourced reports from 29 provinces. And unfortunately, we have already seen many disasters this year, but although we can't stop the disasters from happening, what we can do, as we are doing under this partnership, as all of us are doing, is to make sure everyone has the tools they need to make decisions about safety and response in real time. And so this year, we've already also seen a number of reports coming in from across the country. Notably, a lot of these have been coming in from the flooding in Kalimantan Selatan, and we continue to be in touch with organizations there to see how we can continue to support efforts for community-based disaster reduction. Of course, the platform, all of the data is shared, and we are grateful to be able to integrate this as one layer of data amongst InAWARE's wealth of data. And so this is just one layer, additional layer that can support decision-making by providing on-the-ground information from residents. It is also, the data has also been used by several other agencies and applications, including DKI and the Pantau Banjir application. Most recently for the earthquake in Sulawesi, was also been embedded into the Indonesia Response, Rescue and Recovery box. And other notable uses of the data by agencies for response planning and safety for employees include NASA, Google, Blibli, and Uber when they were still active here. Of course, all of this is only possible because of the training and socialization that we've been able to conduct as a result of this program and partnership, both with government agencies and the community. Last year, we had to change the format, as everyone did, of the training and socialization, but as a result of this, also we be able to engage with organizations from all of the Indonesia's 34 provinces, and we hope to continue these efforts. Just in 2020, we were able to train over 4,000 residents on how to safely and easily share real-time updates on the ground. And of course, all of this is a joint effort of all of the partners represented here today, but also of all of the communities, universities, and organizations who we've worked with and co-designed this platform together. Peta Bencana is truly a collaborative effort from many people, and we've been able to draw together people from over 300 organizations as a result of this program and partnership. As a result of these efforts, the platform has received many awards and recognition, including in 2019, the UN Public Service Award for its ability to share coordinated two-way real-time information at an unprecedented scale. And it has been described as a breakthrough in information exchange. Of course, we share all of these awards with our partners, but all of these awards are just a bonus. The real reason that we continue these efforts, again, is it's been able to help residents, response teams, businesses reduce risk. And so these testimonies are not just testimonies about the platform, but also about the power of crowdsourced reports to support decision-making and reduce risk and assist in relief efforts. And so we look forward to advancing this mission of the power of community engagement in relation to disaster response. And a huge thank you again to this very big community that has built Peta Bencana, that supports us and that engages in this mission of community-based disaster risk reduction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nasheen, for your presentation and for your partnership over the years. I'll turn it back to Ibu Fitri to introduce our next speaker, Pa Bambang, and then we will have another presentation following that by AHA Center.
Baik, Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, untuk presentasi selanjutnya Kepala Pusdalop BNPB, Bapak Bambang Surya Putra MK, tentang penggunaan InAWARE di Pusdalop BNPB, kami persilakan. Seperti apa? Pak Bambang, kami persilakan Pak. Mohon maaf, Bapak Ibu, Pak Bambang sedang on call. Mungkin untuk presentasi penggunaan DMRS di ASEAN ya, untuk selanjutnya dengan DMS ASEAN Assistant Director AHA Center, Ibu Adelina, untuk presentasi penggunaan DMRS di ASEAN, kami persilakan.
Thank you, Ibu Fitri. My colleague will deliver the presentation on AHA Center's behalf. Over to you, LA. Lawrence.
Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Ibu Delina, and good afternoon, good morning, colleagues from Manila, Philippines. I'll be presenting the operational use of DMRS inside the AHA Center. The Southeast Asian region, or the ASEAN, is considered as one of the most disaster-prone regions in the world. According to MDOT, 1 in every 10 disasters caused by natural hazards for the past 120 years occurred in our region. And it's not just about the frequency of the disasters that is of concern. Also, it is about the severity of these disasters within the region. The ASEAN region is known to be a host to world-class disasters in the past 2 decades. In 2004, we had the Indian Ocean tsunami, which impacted Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, and Thailand. In 2008, we had Cyclone Nargis in Myanmar. 2013, we had Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines. And in 2018, we had the Central Sulawesi earthquake in Indonesia. Collectively, all of these 4 mega disasters resulted to at least 280,000 casualties and a combined damage costs of at least $23 billion. And early warning definitely plays a huge role in disaster management, in particular in reducing disaster losses. Based on the ASEAN Disaster Information Network, from July 2012 up to December 2020, we have recorded 2,302 disasters caused by natural hazards in our region. And the thing about all of this, all these disasters is, majority of the disasters in the region are actually hydrometeorological in nature. In fact, for the past 5 years, we observed that about 90% of all disasters annually in the ASEAN is actually hydrometeorological in nature. And this is a good thing, because these hazards can be forecasted with sufficient lead time given the technologies that we have, such as the InAWARE and DMRS. We have also observed that for the past few years, since the inception, since the birth of the AHA Center, the number of disasters recorded is generally increasing. In fact, in 2020, while we are experiencing the global pandemic, we actually recorded the highest ever number of disasters in 1 year. We recorded 530 disasters in 2020 alone. And this will require increased capacity and capability of the ASEAN region to monitor disaster hazards, to monitor hazards and disasters. It is actually why we are using ASEAN DMRS, or the Disaster Monitoring and Response System. The ASEAN DMRS is one of the major tools that the AHA Center is using on our day-to-day operations. This is how we are operationally using DMRS. Aside from DMRS, we have the ADINET and Web EOC. The ADINET and Web EOC, which are also few of our tools that we use inside the AHA Center. So the DMRS is collecting information from the NDMOs, from our partners and the disaster management communities. And all of this information are being fed to the DMRS, which then provides our team with flash alerts. Inside the AHA Center, the disaster monitoring and analysis team is just composed of 3 people asked to monitor all 10 countries of all natural hazards within the region. And with 1 person from the PDC, Mas Fadli, who also joined the DMA team sometime in 2020. This is what we call the disaster alert. So the DMRS is automatically helping us monitor the whole region, and if the DMRS detects a significant hazard within the region, it notifies the DMA team. So that means even though we are only 4 people monitoring the whole region, 24/7, we have the help of DMRS in monitoring the region. And usually it will send us this automated alert system. And then that is the time when the DMA team will then gather for more information to better understand the situation and then propose courses of action to the center. And during orange or red EOC alert, or when we are already preparing or already in active response to a disaster, the DMRS still plays a very active role, especially in informing how we manage disasters within the region through our information products. One of the most important feature that we are using through the DMRS is this PDC hazard brief, which helps us with predictive analytics of disasters. As we all know, data about the impact of disasters will not be usually readily available within the first 48 hours. However, within the first 48 hours upon the impact of a disaster, it is very important that we already have some initial information. And that is where this predictive analysis through the DMRS is being used by the center. And we also have, as mentioned earlier, our flash updates. You can see here that we actually use the predictive analysis from the DMRS in our products in the flash updates and is also in our situation updates. And lastly, all of this information that we gather through the DMRS and all the other platforms that we are using are very important in informing the decision making during our emergency responses. For the past 9 years, and now it's going to be 10 years, this 2021, we have responded to 36 events already in the region. In 2020 alone, we have responded to the Jakarta flooding, to the COVID-19 response in several countries in Cambodia, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Thailand, as well as the Central Vietnam flooding, and lastly, the Super Typhoon Goni in the Philippines. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, LA, for the excellent presentation and for the partnership over many, many years. Back to you, Ibu Fitri, to introduce our next speaker. Hopefully, Pa Bambang is able to join us.
Siap. Baik, untuk presentasi selanjutnya, yaitu penggunaan InAWARE di Pusdalab BNPB oleh Bapak Kepala Pusdalab BNPB, Bapak Bambang Surya Putra Infom, kami persilakan.
Baik, terima kasih Ibu Fitri. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, mohon maaf tadi karena harus melayani panggilan darurat, ada laporan terkait dengan penanggulangan bencana di lapangan yang urgent, jadi mohon maaf tadi saya skip untuk beberapa waktu. Baik, yang pertama-tama izinkan kami menyampaikan salam untuk yang terhormat Pak Radit. Hari ini Pak Raditya tidak saja sebagai Kepala Pusdalab, namun beliau juga sebagai Acting Deputy Ministry for System and Strategy, dan kemudian yang kami hormati Ibu Adelina Kamal dari AHA Center, juga ke Pak Ray Sirkodai, Executive Director dari PDC, lalu juga yang kami hormati Bapak Harlan Hill dari USAID, kemudian perwakilan dari LAPAN, dari World Bank, dari ASEAN Sekretariat, kemudian keluarga besar PDC, ada Pak Kris, ada Bu Victoria, dan lain sebagainya, yang mohon maaf tidak saya sebutkan satu persatu. Dan di sini saya lihat juga banyak sekali direktur dari BNPB, ada direktur mitigasi, direktur perlengkapan, peralatan, direktur sistem, direktur strategi, dan sejumlah direktur-direktur lain yang mohon maaf tidak juga saya sebutkan satu persatu. Baik, terima kasih. Mungkin saya tidak akan menyampaikan paparan, namun saya akan memberikan testimoni dari apa yang kami lakukan bersama sebagai sebuah bentuk kebersamaan kami di Pusdalop dengan PDC atau InAWARE. Terus terang, saya mungkin salah satu pengguna awal-awal dari InAWARE. Saya diperkenalkan InAWARE pada saat saya masih di BPBD DKI. Waktu itu saya diperkenalkan InAWARE oleh Bapak almarhum Bapak Sutopo. Dan pada saat itu kami memimpin Pusdalop di BPBD DKI dan kami menggunakan InAWARE di awal-awal. Lalu kemudian waktu berjalan dan kemudian kami pindah ke BNPB, lalu pada tanggal 1 Januari tahun 2020 berdirilah Pusdalop BNPB. Pada saat itu Pusdalop BNPB membutuhkan sebuah sistem, sebuah platform yang betul-betul dapat bisa menunjukkan situasi kebencanaan di Indonesia. Memang penggunaannya InAWARE sebelum berdirinya Pusdalop ini boleh dibilang kurang begitu optimal. Lalu kemudian kami perintahkan semua staf untuk bisa menggunakan InAWARE dan mulai menggunakan InAWARE dalam merecord, mengentry, dan menganalisa semua kejadian bencana yang ada. Sejak itu, semua kejadian bencana kami masukkan ke dalam InAWARE. Lalu mulai pada bulan Mei, kami juga menggunakan InAWARE untuk COVID. Jadi COVID ini juga hingga saat ini menggunakan InAWARE untuk analisanya. Dan kami berharap bahwa penggunaan InAWARE ini dapat lebih masif digunakan oleh BPBD di seluruh Indonesia. Memang salah satu permasalahan yang ada saat ini adalah kami perlu untuk mengembangkan terus operasional dari sistem pelaporan lapangan agar InAWARE ini dapat memberikan informasi yang up to date untuk kebutuhan operasional lembaga penanggulangan bencana. Memang InAWARE ini tidak dimaksudkan untuk memberikan informasi kepada umum, kepada khalayak, namun lebih kepada bagaimana mendukung operasional penanggulangan bencana baik dari tingkat kabupaten kota, provinsi maupun nasional. Dan itu hanya akan terjadi jika memang informasinya yang dihimpun oleh Pusdalop itu betul-betul lengkap dan up to date. Kami juga berharap bahwa ke depan kita ada berbagai program seperti ada Indonesian Disaster Initiative Resilience Project atau IDRIP. Mudah-mudahan ini juga bisa mempertimbangkan adanya InAWARE yang juga digunakan sebagai platform. Karena InAWARE saat ini sudah begitu kaya dengan data dan informasi, baik informasi kedaruratan, maupun informasi-informasi yang sifatnya kesiapsiagaan atau preparedness. Sebagai informasi saja bahwa kementerian-kementerian lembaga yang diundang pada saat ini merupakan kementerian-kementerian yang berkontribusi terhadap data-data fenomena alam yang akan kita gunakan untuk InAWARE dalam memberikan informasi peringatan dini. Dengan informasi yang up to date, informasi yang tepat waktu, maka InAWARE juga dapat memberikan peringatan dini yang baik untuk upaya kesiapsiagaan kita di BPBD maupun juga untuk meneruskan informasi ini kepada stakeholder terkait. Dan sebagai informasi juga bahwa informasi-informasi terkait dengan kesiapsiagaan ini, saat ini PDC juga menyelenggarakan sebuah project preparedness information gitu ya. Ini juga dapat memberikan informasi untuk kebutuhan analisis dari berbagai kejadian bencana jika itu terjadi di berbagai daerah. Dengan adanya penilaian kesiapsiagaan daerah yang dilakukan oleh PDC, maka ini dapat memberikan informasi yang berharga agar ketika ada informasi kejadian bencana, kita dapat menilai dan mengetahui seberapa siap kira-kira daerah tersebut untuk kemudian kita dapat menurunkan skala bantuan yang seperti apa yang kira-kira cukup memadai untuk memberikan dukungan penanggulangan bencana di lapangan. Selain informasi tersebut, kita juga membutuhkan informasi-informasi yang lebih banyak lagi agar setiap orang ataupun berbagai lembaga terkait dapat berkontribusi data dan informasi terhadap InAWARE. Untuk itu, PDC bersama dengan teman-teman di Diklat dan juga di Pusdalop dan juga didukung oleh teman-teman Pusdatin telah juga menyediakan atau membentuk sebuah sistem e-learning. Dengan sistem e-learning dari penggunaan InAWARE ini, diharapkan pengguna InAWARE akan semakin banyak. Nah, pengguna InAWARE ini tentunya akan menjadi masukan yang demikian berharga agar InAWARE ini menjadi semakin kaya, sehingga dengan begitu operasi penanggulangan bencana ini menjadi semakin mudah. Seperti yang sering dikatakan oleh UNASDR bahwa informasi adalah bantuan. Dengan bantuan informasi-informasi yang terhimpun di dalam InAWARE dari berbagai kondisi di lapangan, dari berbagai stakeholder terkait, dari berbagai daerah, maka informasi ini akan memudahkan kita mengetahui bahwa ada sumber daya apa di lapangan. Dan kemudian bagaimana kita bisa menggerakkan itu untuk mendukung operasi penanggulangan bencana supaya lebih cepat, efektif, dan efisien. Dan terakhir, kami berharap Pusdalop bersama PDC ini dapat terus-menerus berjalan bersama untuk mengembangkan dan menggunakan InAWARE, serta membantu untuk dapat melaksanakan operasi dari berbagai kejadian bencana dan terus-menerus disempurnakan. Sistem InAWARE ini menjadi penting untuk kita dalam pengendalian operasi, dan untuk itu kami ucapkan terima kasih atas kerjasama yang demikian baik, dan kami berharap kerjasama ini akan terus-menerus berlanjut di masa yang akan datang. Demikian, kurang lebihnya mohon maaf, kami akhiri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Bapak Bambang Surya Putra. Baik Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, untuk selanjutnya adalah rencana mendatang kerjasama PDC, BNPB, dan PDC AHA Center. Kepada Deputi Direktur Proyek, Mr. Kiesa, kami persilakan.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pa Bambang, for your excellent partnership and leadership and remarks. Truly appreciate them. I know we're a little bit running late, so I'm going to cut my remarks a little bit short, but I want to build upon comments that Pa Raditya made, as well as Pa Bambang and Ibu Lina. This program, like all projects, have beginnings, middles, and ends. This project will come to an end. Our relationship is stronger than ever. Our relationship predates these projects. In fact, we were partners with collaborators with the ASEAN Secretariat before the AHA Center was even born, and I think we helped birth it, really. So we're not going anywhere. Our relationship with BNPB predates this project, and our relationship with many of our partners, Gajah Mada University, for example, also predates this project. Along the way, we've made many new colleagues and formed relationships and partnerships with other organizations like HOT, like PETA Bencana. Although they started in Indonesia, they've also strengthened throughout the region. and in some cases outside of the region. Our relationship at the AHA Center, I think Ibulina mentioned, well, and in fact, LA mentioned as well. We have a staff member there who helps operate DMRS under the NDPBA program. My boss, PDC Executive Director Ray Shirkadai, is going to be participating in an ASEAN webinar, ARMOR webinar later this week on early warning systems, challenges, and innovations in the region. So I think these programs strengthen our relationships, and when they come to a transition, that's fine, that's to be expected, but in no way does it diminish everything that we've developed to date and in the future. Just hinting at a little bit of the future before I turn it over to our next speaker. We certainly have heard from the strong desire from AHA Center and from BNPB to continue to advance these tools, and we're going to look for mechanisms to do that. We recently signed an MOI with AHA Center that really looks at collaboration in the areas of risk assessment, early warning, disaster response. That's an opportunity to really advance the type of work that we've done the last several years under this USAID program. Similarly, we're getting ready to sign an LOI, letter of intent, with BNPB that really speaks to exactly the comments that Pa Bambang just made, and that is to make sure that our partnership remains strong in the support of InAWARE, and we're absolutely confident that that will be the case. We know that Indonesia is getting ready to embark on a large World Bank funded program, Indonesia Disaster Resilience Initiative Project, or EDRIP, and we hope that that becomes an opportunity for InAWARE to continue to play a central role in what's often referred to as the multi-hazard early warning system in Indonesia and BNPB. So I think the future is bright for our relationships with all of the organizations that are present here, and I look forward to working with all of you. Before I turn it over to a good friend and colleague, Harlan Hale, I'd like to see if I can get everybody to turn your cameras on, and we're going to do a group photo, and then I'll turn it over to Harlan to make some concluding remarks. So Victoria, if I can ask you to help grab the screenshots, and everybody turn on your camera. We should be able to.
We have many people on this.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to do
a number of screens, but yes,
yeah, we're going to have to do several. That's for sure.
Okay, so everybody smile for the first one, please. And the next page, everybody smile. You don't know what page you're on, so keep smiling.
No.
Okay. And one more. One smile. Thank you, everybody. Can I just remind everybody as well, there is a link in the chat to fill in the sign-in form. So please do make sure you fill in the sign-in form before you leave. But thank you. One more photo. I think some other people have joined. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Victoria, and thanks to all of our participants. Before I turn it back to Fitri to introduce Harlan, since Ray Shirkadai, PDC's Executive Director, his name was mentioned so many times, Ray, would you like to just maybe say hello or give a greeting to our many participants today?
Thank you, Chris. Yes, indeed, I do. So, but I won't take long. I did want to say that, on this call, actually, we saw so many distinguished, really, partners, guests, colleagues, presenters did a fantastic job, of course, and really, I just wanted to say aloha, first of all, because, as Chris mentioned, with many of you, we've been working over a decade. So yes, Ibulina, we do time flies when you're having fun, and we are privileged. I personally have been privileged to have had the opportunity to work with many of you, but the nature of our work has really turned into a lasting friendship and a partnership for a better good. So we do look forward to continued engagement with you all and with all of our partners on this call. And I do hope that the situation improves, so I can once again come down there and see you from close. So with that, I bid you aloha, and until we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Ibu Fitri, over to you to introduce our final speaker, last but certainly not least.
Terima kasih. Untuk pembicara terakhir sebagai penutup acara, kami persilakan kepada USAID BHA Regional Officer, Mr. Harlan Hale. Kami persilakan. Kepada Mr. Harlan Hale.
Harlan, it looks like you're muted, perhaps.
There we go. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, clear, sir.
I think
Yes,
we need
please.
a 2021 shirt that says you're muted. That seems to be the common phrase today. Hey, look, I had a couple of remarks prepared, in my head about, transition and this and that, and I will get to those. But listening to the presentations today and thinking about where we've all started together, you all especially, and where we are today, I just wanted to speak a little bit to the power of partnership. Now, that word was mentioned a lot here today, the partnerships between USAID, BNPB, USAID, AHA Center, PDC, and all the partnerships between HOT and PDC and PETA Bencana, and to look and see what you can do together, what organizations with a common purpose and a common objective and a common goal can do together, blending in their relative comparative advantages at government, at non-government, at education, academic institutions, coming together to face a challenge and to achieve something. I mean, can you imagine that somebody like Pa Bambang can sit in Jakarta, up in the BNPB headquarters, while there's an event going on, perhaps in Papua or Maluku, and click, 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 get near real-time picture and reporting from the ground, from people in Maluku via PETA Bencana, all the way up, and he's got it right there as soon as they do. And so does the BPPD in Ambon, who has to make decisions about how to respond to that. Can you imagine the confidence that people will have when they know that they can report information and that it is going quickly to people who can do something about it, whose job it is to do something about it? Basically, it turns everybody into the first responder when you're able to provide that information from the ground up. Now, that's the power of partnership. That's the power of linking in HOT, PETA Bencana, InAWARE, into BNPB, into BPPDs, and bringing government and the people that they're serving together to solve the problem together. And I think that is amazing. Now, on the other hand as well, the partnerships between the NDMOs and the AHA Center is incredibly strong at the regional level. And to see NDMOs, some of them having similar your name of country here aware systems that can feed into the DMRS, and DMRS that can feed out to countries that don't have their own systems, but can make use of that information and upload it and upload their information and get information from the DMRS again, is an incredible partnership. And I would really encourage that going forward here, BNPB and the InAWARE team and AHA Center and the DMRS team also look to their partnership, because they're, well, one, they're both in the same building located in Jakarta, and two, you know, a lot of the same technology, a lot of the same challenges, a lot of the same upgrades and things will be coming their way. So I think together, working together between InAWARE and the AHA Center can definitely lay the foundation for other ASEAN member states also to be able to tie, you know, selected parts of their country systems into the DMRS. To see what's happening and growing out and happening in the Philippines, taking this model of partnership in Indonesia to the Philippines was instantly, I think, not, you know, pretty instantly looked on as something that was very good and accepted there in the Philippines. And I'm really happy of the progress that's happening and being, you know, and happening there. So I really would encourage you all to, you know, again, continue looking at each other as friends, colleagues, partners, and not just linked together through projects and money and contracts and obligations, but as a community of people in this region, you know, that are driving, you know, really the most important, providing really the most important commodity, you know, in any disaster situation, pre, during, and post, which is information. Information for decision making, information for, so that individuals can make decisions about themselves, where to go, what to do. Responders can make decisions on where to allocate resources, and, you know, national governments can make decisions on how to do, you know, future development and do it in a way that keeps risk in mind. Now, also, when I look at the system of, when I look at InAWARE, what I find, besides its core purpose, it is an incredible repository, becomes an incredible repository of information. All of those disasters that are logged in there, that are registered in there, the reports that are filed from the provinces, from the ground, are all linked into each individual disaster record. Now, for academia, for research, for after action reports, not only just compiling your annual report on the numbers of disasters, but to get down into the real nitty gritty, there's a place to go to. Now, I studied history in my undergraduate years, and so I'm a real big believer that finding an archive, finding a treasure trove of original information and basic data for a historian or any analyst or any academic or anybody researching and studying disasters. I mean, InAWARE is like, you know, opening up the pyramids, man. You got it all right there. It's gold, you know. So keep it, maintain it, and with the circular letter that went out, you know, it's only going to be as rich as people are inputting information and filing their reports. So hopefully, you know, you'll be able to keep that up. Now, finally, just as has been said, you know, while this is an event celebrating a transition. It's celebrating a transition from the current USAID project support, you know, to your support. Now, in most cultures, many cultures around the world, there's a particular time for, you know, a rite of passage. You know, it's celebrated in different ways, and sometimes religiously, you know, sometimes not. In the United States, when a kid graduates from high school, you know, that's a big deal. That's a big celebration. When they graduate from university, you know, that's even a bigger deal. Parents are proud, siblings are proud, everybody's proud. Now, the graduate, the person undergoing the transition, is also happy, but I can speak from personal experience, you're also very nervous because you're about to move on to a new phase in your life where you are going to have to accept more responsibility. And you know, while it's good to grow up, you know, the responsibility, the new challenges that are going to come your way, do cause a little bit of anxiety. I can tell that, I can sense it. It's happened to me before in the past as well. But the one thing that you have to remember as well is just because you graduate doesn't mean you're kicked out and on your own. You're not an orphan. You know, the same people you worked with, that you grew with and grew up with are still there and still there to support you, but in a different way. Why? Because you're different. Looking at 10 years of the AHA Center and 10 years of the implementation of DMRS, very different than when it started. You know, 8 or 9 years of InAWARE, again, incredibly very different from when it started. Is it done? No. Is a 21-year-old grown up? Not really. You know, there's time to grow, and there's plenty of growing to be done. And as Bonbon's mentioned, Radita's mentioned, Adelina and LA have mentioned, there's lots of things that these AWARE systems can do more of to really help improve the quality and the operations, you know, for disaster response at the national level, subnational level, and up at the regional level. So keep growing, keep working, and know that you're not on your own. And all of us that are partners, we're still partners. And so let's look to the future and move this relationship along. So thank you very much, and congratulations to everybody. And I also want to echo the sentiments that have been said about my two good friends, Pasutopo and Pawisnu. May they rest in peace. They're legends. And let's keep this going, especially in memory of their friendship, in memory of their commitment, you know, and in memory of their contributions to the world of disaster management. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Harlan. Excellent thoughts and guidance regarding transitions and growing up. I'm going to have you come to Maui and give that to my son who's still living at home. But seriously, yeah, the nature of the partnership or relationship evolves just as the organizations themselves evolve. So that was wonderful advice. I want to once again just thank everybody. We've had over 70 people participate. I know we've run a little bit long, so I'm not going to belabor this, but just want to express my sincere thanks to all of our partners, too many to name, but all of you out there, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today and over the last number of years. And please stay safe. I want to see all of you again on the other side of the Pacific when it's safe to do so. And of course, whenever you have the opportunity to come to Hawaii, we'll extend the spirit of aloha to you. So you are all welcome to join us at some future time at the PDC Center in Maui as well. So with that, I'm going to say aloha and encourage all of you to keep in touch. Oh, speaking of keeping in touch, please register, and we will make sure that we send these snapshots to you. We'll also send a link to the video. I know it got a little bit hard to hear toward the middle of it. Excellent video. You may want to just download that for your files and your future use. So please register, send us your contact information, and we'll make sure that you receive links to the photos and links to the video. So now I'm going to say aloha.
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 Aloha, aloha everyone.
Thank you.
Mbak Fitri, tutup dulu, Mbak.
Terima kasih.
Baiklah, Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, sebelum acara saya tutup, perkenankanlah kami di sini mengucapkan terima kasih atas kehadiran Bapak Ibu dalam rapat pengalihan proyek InAWARE hari ini. Terima kasih juga atas pesan-pesan yang diberikan, dan diharapkan kita masih akan berjumpa lagi di masa mendatang. Kami akan mengirimkan materi-materi hari ini ke email Bapak Ibu sekalian. Atas nama BNPB, Pacific Disaster Center, AHA Center, dan USAID, kami mengucapkan terima kasih dan mohon maaf jika ada kekurangan dalam penyelenggaraan rapat kali ini. Akhir kata, aloha dan wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Aloha.
Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam.
Sama-sama.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Pak Deputi.
Terima kasih semua. Mahalo. Terima kasih. Thank you. Bye.
Mahalo.
Bye.
Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Victoria. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for helping today.
Victoria, apa kabar?
Yes, take care.
Nice
Thank
to,
you so much.
nice to see you. Yes. I hope
Miss
your
you,
family
Chris.
is well. I hope your family is well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. They're well. We're well.
Good.
I
Excellent.
miss you all to
Excellent.
come to Jakarta.
Yeah.
Yes, we hope to see you in person again soon.
Yeah, we will one of these days. One of these days.
Thank you all.
I hope
Thank you.
Pa Topo is looking down. I wore the shirt that I bought when he and I were in Jogja shopping one evening. So I'm hoping he's looking down, happy to see the program advancing, and recognizes me through the shirt from Maliboro. Am I saying that right? Maliboro Street?
Yes.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. Thank you.
Edwin, thank you. I see you're still on the line. Kelvin, Kelvin's still there. Thank you for joining us today, Kelvin. You're seeing the future. We'll be doing one of these later this year with InAWARE.
Yes, Chris.
Yeah, thank you so much for all of your participation from Manila, collaboration rather, from Manila. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Machine, I see you still online as well. Really appreciate the partnership with Peta Bencana. And I think Harlan's words really rang true. And I think about the young organization, I mean, not even really founded as a foundation, and just how far you and your team have gone over these last 5 years. It's phenomenal. So I'm really glad you were able to help tell your story today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. And again, this foundation was only built out of this collaboration. So we are really grateful, not only for the program, but for all of the relationships we've built. And we really look forward to continuing this effort.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm many years to come. Partnerships for many years, forever, as Pa Bambang said. So yeah. And Anam, I don't know what we would do without you. Thank you so much for all of your help in Jakarta. You run around and get things done, and that is such a valuable characteristic or skill. So thank you so much for all that you've done to make all of this happen, not just today, but 5 or more years of making things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Ya, terima kasih loh Pak Anom. Sangat terbantu.
Makasih banyak.
Thank you, Ibu Fitri, for all the work that you've done as well. I mean, I don't think we would enjoy the success on our program if it weren't for your participation. I know sometimes you're in the background, that's fine, but we know that part of Anam's success is definitely due to you. So I want to say thank you as well to that.
Yeah.
And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Victoria, who's also just been extremely instrumental in advancing all of the work in the ASEAN region. You know, when we talk, it was mentioned, I guess Adelina mentioned that Myanmar and Laos are using DMRS for their national platform. That work is largely due to the endeavors of Victoria in Naypyidaw and in Vientiane. So thank you so much, Victoria, for all of your contributions, many contributions.
Thank you, Chris. Right back at you, I think. Yes, leading us all in this. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Victoria. And sebelumnya, while we are here, I still saw Pak Berton, I believe, from Training Center Pusdiklat. Thank you very much for coming, Pak.
Oh, okay, great.
The meeting, and then Pak Rustian as well. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I just would like to remind that Mas Bowo, we still have pending work that we really need the LOI to come up. So Mas Bowo, soon I will come to you to finalize this. I believe that I heard that from Pak Bambang that he mentioned to Pak Sestama once that it's already basically it's already set up. So please I will reach to you immediately after this. And then Bu Dian, terima kasih banyak juga sudah mau hadir. Mas Prapto tadi ada di sini, Mbak Ismi juga Mbak Ratih. Pak Berton, ada yang mau disampaikan Pak? Ada teman-teman?
Terima kasih saja, enggak. Terima kasih semua.
Iya Pak. Sama-sama.
Thank you very much for everybody. See you next time.
Iya Pak. Terima kasih banyak Bapak. Pak Edwin.
Okay.
I'm leaving now.
Yeah,
okay. I'm going to in a minute too. So yeah. Thank you everybody.
Terima kasih.
Bye everyone.
See you.
Bye.
Bye everybody. Take care.
Mas Iksan dan kawan-kawan